So, this week, I think we are talking, I think it's all got a bit nebulous, but
Okay.
I think that we are talking about these kind of theories where it doesn't really matter what we do because we're all fucked anyway and the Earth is going to take care of itself. So, I'm talking about things like Gaia theory and James Lovelock.
Okay.
And who do you want to talk about a bit?
The Dark Mountain Project.
Ooh, Dark Mountain.
Yeah, it's a sort of.
Are they happy? Are they happy people?
I'm still trying to figure them out.
Okay.
In one sense, they want to party. In another sense, they're doom and gloom.
That sounds like a party you don't want to go to. That
I
sounds like
kind of want to go. I don't think I'm gonna go because it's at the end of May and I won't be around. It's at the end
there
of May.
really is a party.
Yeah, they have a festival.
I thought. What is it? A festival of gloom?
Dark Mountain Festival at the end of May in Wales.
Is it on a dark mountain? Is it in the Black Mountains?
It must be
The Brecon Beacons.
something like that.
The Welsh are naturally dark.
So there's this sort of it's post-environmentalism basically, and to me it sounds kind of dystopian and post-disaster, but kind of the real disaster hasn't happened yet. But they're kind of like, I don't know what they're really proposing, almost like dancing into the fire or something, with poetry and bands.
Oh, God. You see, they're always dancing into the fire. You see, in a way, number one, what's the difference between them and those kind of nut-job millenarian kind of Waco type people?
It's got hints of that, but if you talk to them, they seem pretty smart and they have a quite a clear manifesto, but it's got a lot of sort of Armageddon type language, and the logic is there.
What's the logic?
Well, the climate change.
Yes.
And there's no political process or,
Yes.
Recycling, all this kind of stuff. It's not going to stop it.
It's
not even going to come close to
It's
stopping
just dropping a few peas in a bucket.
Yeah, and making yourself feel good about it.
Okay.
But,
James Lovelock is a bit similar. I
Right.
saw a thing with him. He's the one of the founders of it. The Gaia project, and this idea that the Earth is this whole entity, and in a way that human beings have been created for the Earth to look at herself.
right, it's like an orgasm. An organism. It's like an orgasm.
Yes, Gaia made you do that just then.
And it felt
She
good.
was speaking through you. And I saw some interviews with him recently, and he's ticking on, and he's a very venerable gentleman, certainly someone with great ideas, but he was espousing the same kind of thing, which is like, we're doomed. We're doomed!
It's quite religious, though, isn't it?
Yes, you see, I don't buy that. I think, I'm name-checking again George Monbiot, who I often do, but I think he made a great argument saying that, just 6 months after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, basically, they'd completely turned their car plants around, and when, bombers were coming off the assembly lines.
Yeah, everything. Jeeps.
Yeah, the economy can turn on a sixpence if there is political and public will. I've got a lot of faith in it. I know. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying that on a daily basis almost I run out of hope. But for me, I can't be getting into these kind of end of the worldy.
It's a bit too soon, isn't it?
Well, the thing is, it's always been the end of the world for these
Right.
people. It doesn't matter if it's, the 17th, the 18th, the 11th, around the coming of Christ.
Yeah.
It's always the end of the world really soon.
And it is always the end of some civilization or some way of life. And at least, like...
You sound like Black Mountain people now.
No, but at least we can make it better.
Who do you
Right.
think will take over?
What?
Who would be better than us?
Than us. What do you mean?
Who do you think would take over?
The cats?
Okay, if the world was run by cats,
Right.
How
I
would
don't think
that
they
be?
would run anything. I think they would just sort
Yeah,
of
like
do their own thing.
how would the world look?
Maybe it would be just turn out the same, like an animal farm. Like they think they're going to do it better, but when they
Yeah.
get the power,
Yeah.
it corrupts them.
Who would you rather have run the world, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
They just have such... They sort of display more maybe human-like, and especially the good parts of human-like behavior. Sort of like
More noble.
more noble and more like compassionate. I mean, you ever had a cat say it's sorry?
No.
No way. But
No.
I got bit by the family dog before,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's coming in with his head down and
Yeah.
his eyes like
Yeah.
looking at you. He feels guilty.
Yeah.
So guilty and so
Yeah.
sad, and he's just trying to get your forgiveness. And if you give it to him, he's so happy.
Yeah.
Cat, it doesn't even seem like they have any concept of that at all.
They do. They know. They just don't. They'd make good leaders.
Cats would.
Yeah.
They're good at figuring out stuff.
Yeah. My cat's like a little raptor.
My cat used to open the locked door to the garbage so my dog could get in and eat it. They would like sort of undo the latch, and then he'd be.
It's like the Incredible Journey.
Yeah, so he's like. You got the guy who's doing the radio or the bomb or something, like the nerdy. He's not tough, but he's sort of figuring out this little thing, and that's why he's there. He can't fight.
Yeah, in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Either
His name's Scooter or something.
Yeah, and to be
Brains.
brains, either nerdy, gay, or fat, and always in a Hawaiian shirt, no matter.
Yeah.
So,
What are we?
do you think we're coming to the end of the world?
No. But we're always on the cusp of some change.
But this is like, I mean, they are right. It's very bad.
We're coming to the end of something. Sure, there's as they always point out, empires rise and fall, species evolve and go extinct. So on the long term,
Who's they?
yeah.
Who's they pointing at?
Well, they're pointing out that's what they say. Like, okay, this Rome went on for whatever 1,000 years.
You're sketchy, man. You sounded sketchy.
Well,
okay,
what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah, the end of the world. I mean, for who and for what? For us.
You're sounding like a dark mountaineer. I think you should go into the flames with some poetry. I just remember reading this thing at Gerald of Wales. Mm-hmm. He was this quite. He's going around the country with the Archbishop of Canterbury in the 12th century.
Okay.
They're drumming up support for the Crusades. So we're doing a big tour, and they do actually go around Wales. And Gerald it's a very fascinating document because he's got a very sort of acerbic modern writing style. It's very unusual for the age, to have been written down. And so basically, what I really liked is at one point Gerald is kind of going, and society's really going downhill. I mean, there's just no end to this. It's awful, it's awful. And you realise that people always say this. And what bothers me as well is that, I think we said this the other day as well, that I don't think we're actually making very much progress at all. I think it's super minimal, and I think we're hiding and obfuscating the data and outsourcing lots and lots of things we do.
Well, that I think is, some of these, whatever, the old school deep ecologists,
yes.
the dark mountains, the Gaia. In a way, it's almost like, like when punk started or something, and it was underground and it meant something.
Yeah.
And then when it became a fashionable accessory in a department store and, whatever, on MTV and all this, those originals, they get pissed off.
Yeah.
So when an original, hardcore ecologist sees like,
Tesco's greenwash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All that stuff. All the, decrease your carbon footprint by buying this CD.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
They get really angry and grumpy about it, and I totally get that. But how much of that is about their sort of disillusionment with environmentalism in general, or just sort of like, you took my cool thing and made it uncool?
Yeah.
I think it's a mix.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Good point, fair. Good point, well made, sir.
There's some connection between all this because they have these things called hexayurts, which you can build for like $100 or something, and it's this sort of like they're being deployed in Haiti. You know what a yurt is? It's what the Mongols lived in. This is some sort of like new, like it's like a tent, but it's better. It could last for years. It can be like made of this sort of mirrored cardboard or particle board or whatever.
It's so like you to know about
cheap stuff that you can sort of like makes a decent house.
Have you slept in a hexayurt?
No, I haven't.
You ever touched one?
No, I just found out about them, but I knew about the other sort of not the Hexayurts, which are just like, foldable things, or things you can just sort of make from a little plan out of whatever you have.
Well, like Blue Peter.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they make it sound really, really easy, and like a great sort of survival tool.
In my experience, putting up a tent is never easy.
Right. I mean, I'm not saying like I could do it, but
I can't see you with a Hexayurt.
no.
Do you think if like something really bad happened, do you think you'd survive?
I don't know. Well, I thought of it like if it gets really, really bad, if it's like this movie or
Like
in
Mad
the book,
Max.
The Road. Mad Max is way better than The Road. The
Yeah,
Road is
The
so
Road.
horrible that I'd be like, forget this.
What's the point
Kill
of living?
myself
Yeah,
somehow,
yeah.
Which is, I mean, what people did in that movie too, or in that book.
The Road is.
I mean, what's the price of survival? Like,
yeah.
Cannibalism? Nah.
Yeah.
I don't. Even if I was one of those, Argentinian football players that was in the mountains.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd do that or not.
I would totally do it. When I always
You're
when
saying it's hard to know until you're there.
Oh, I would. All those scenes where there's always a woman who's really religious and she won't eat the flesh. I'm like, give me the flesh.
Yeah.
I don't care. The body's gone.
Well,
It's done.
that's different than when you're actually hunting people like they did in The Road.
Yeah.
Definitely can't do that.
I couldn't hunt people. But the thing is, I don't think you'd even. I don't think you could hunt a rat. How would you catch a rat if it was down to you? Could you fire
Me?
a crossbow? Yeah, you.
Of course. Hey, when I was a kid, I had bows and arrows and BB guns, and
Yeah?
I know how to shoot. I'm a marksman and a pro marksman from the National Rifle Association. I don't act like it, but
Are you?
yeah, as a kid I did. I fished. I
fished.
had slingshots, and I actually never hit anything with them, I have to admit. But I knew archery. I did all these things at camp.
Man,
archery, riflery, canoeing.
All we need is a Hexayurt and we're off.
I mean,
Where would you
I'm
go?
soft, I admit it.
Too late to put the provisos in now, sir.
I just wonder, if I could rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
People do.
Yeah.